so much for inviting me here this evening. I very much enjoy learning with Nishay, for the women and the men who come to learn with us together. I think that Nishay provides an impetus and a drive of chesed in the community, which is akin to what Avram Avinu understood as his role in the Bria. Why did Avram Avinu choose chesed as his midah to bring to the world? Why did he live chesed? His tent was open on four sides. Hachnasos orchim. He was Baal chesed. He and Sarah. Because he saw his emunah in Hashem came through chesed. That he saw Hashem's giving of himself to the world as a meitiv, as an act of chesed. And therefore, since he saw Kadosh Baruch Hu's creating the world and sustaining the world, being manig of the world, as an act of chesed, and he was a recipient of that chesed, therefore he took it upon himself to emulate and continue that avodah by being a Baal chesed. So his emunah was through chesed. He was a maimin through the chesed of Hashem, and therefore his mahus became an Adam chesed. My bracha to the Nishay is that you should continue your avodah of chesed, Mrs. Berenbaum, to inspire the community with the chesed and the inspiration that you give to the community, all the work that Nishay does. I also want to begin with a bracha to all of us, to ourselves, because we want to give ourselves a bracha that we have hatzlacha in raising our children to be Avdei Hashem. And we need a bracha. How do we take what we know, what we've learned in seminary, in yeshiva, the hislavus, the passion, the love of Shabbos, the love of Yom Tov, the love of Chesed, the love of tzedakah, the love of learning, that we know, that we experience, that we feel, and how do we convey that to our children? The key is that we communicate our love through the act of Mesorah. Mesorah means, the transmission process means to communicate, to convey, to deliver our passion, our love of Hashem to our children. And that leads to the connection of dor ledor, of generation to generation. We have to convey our message to the next generation. However, sometimes there are blocks in that communication. Sometimes our message does not get through. An example would be that there's a story of a young family who married an Israeli woman who spoke only Hebrew, and an American Avreich who spoke only English, from Brooklyn. They got married. And when they would get upset at each other, they would speak, one in English, one in Hebrew, passionately, and neither understood what the other person was saying. We call this a marriage of bliss. You could say whatever you want to say, but the other person doesn't understand, doesn't get insulted. I don't understand. So she would say some passionate words to him, and he would sit on the porch and turn to his neighbor and say, "What did she say?" "I don't know. She said she loves you." "Oh, gewaldig." So sometimes the lack of communication is a blessing. In our case, talking about the Mesorah transmission of our hislavos to our children, and when they do not get what we are saying, that leads to a generation gap. That leads to a disconnect. That they don't get the message, they don't hear what we're saying. I lived in England for 9 years. In England, they have a different way of speaking. Certain words in English mean different things in England than they do here. A dummy in England is a pacifier. Where's the dummy? You call me a dummy? It's a pacifier. Where are the nappies? Well, you need a napkin? A nappy is a diaper. Right? Crisps are chips. The boot is the back of the car, the trunk. The bonnet is not your tichel. The bonnet is the hood of the car. So when you're communicating, you have to understand the language. So Sir Winston Churchill said that America and England are two cultures separated by a common language. So how do we bridge the generation gap and give to our children the common language that we love Shabbos and we want them to also love Shabbos? But somehow, many times, we get frustrated because the message is not getting across. Children don't want to stay at the Shabbos table. They don't want to stay in davening. They don't want to learn what we learn. So the answer is that we have to be able to communicate in a language that they understand. Not in a language that we understand. We want to convey a language, but it's not getting through because it's not their language. How can we speak our children's language? What is the language of today that we're not getting? Now, in marriage, there's something called love languages. There are 5 love languages in marriage. So when you want to convey love to your spouse, there are 5 different ways of conveying aspects of love. There's quality time. That's a love language. There's acts of service, acts of kindness. There's words of affection. Giving gifts. And physical connection, physical touch. If one spouse sees as their love language words of affection, they want to be told words of softness and words of kindness. But the other person thinks the other spouse wants gifts. I give her gifts. I'm showing that I love her. But gifts don't work for her because her love language is words. And there's good intentions on the part of spouses, but somehow the message doesn't get across because they're not speaking the same love language. So one has to ask their spouse, what is your love language? What is your need to feel loved? And then provide the love language that your spouse needs to receive, not what I want to give or what I think she needs or he needs. So it has been, in our recent past, that after the Churban Europa, the Churban of the Shoah, our job was to survive, to rebuild Yiddishkeit, to rebuild Torah, to rebuild yeshivas, and to survive. The 50s, 60s, and 70s were rebuilding. And our goal was to survive as a nation. And Baruch Hashem, we are surviving and thriving as a nation. That becomes our culture. We have rules, we have halacha, we have mitzvos, and we have to keep our nation going. Keep the Torah going. We have to survive. This language has been the language of the 50s and 60s and 70s, but it doesn't get through to our children. Because we have to survive as a nation doesn't work for them. It doesn't inspire them. They're not the generation of the Holocaust. We remember the Holocaust. They are 3rd and 4th generation now. They don't understand what it means to survive, to keep the nation going. We almost disappeared. They speak a different language. We have to convey a different type of language today to be able to keep our children on the derech, to keep them on our path. What is our message? What is our understanding of the Torah is v'halachta bidrachav. There's a mitzvah in the Torah, one of the 613 mitzvahs is to walk in Hashem's ways. V'halachta bidrachav, to walk in His ways, to act like Hashem. To take the physical world, to take schach, and put it upon a sukkah and elevate it to a higher madrika. To take wine that can make you drunk, and elevate it and sanctify Shabbos with it. Kadosh, kiddushin. Take marriage, a physical, emotional, spiritual relationship, and elevate it with kedusha. Take wine and make kiddush. Wine make you drunk? Could make you drunk. But elevate it to a higher madrega. Our message is to take the physical and elevate it. Kedusha means to elevate the physical to a higher madrega, to spiritualize it, to join together the physical and spiritual. That has meaning. Anything physical without a spiritual connection is meaningless. It's a shell. And children know that. After a while, they get bored with the physical, bored with material. People looking for something more. We're not conveying that message. What message are we conveying? We're conveying the message of survival. Got to survive. Got to do it. Why do you got to do it? Because that's what we do. That's what Yidden do. We daven. Why? Because we do. Because that's what Jews do. We have to keep it going. That message is not resonating. Because we have to, because we did, because our grandparents did, because we do it. That's our culture. The message is we do it because it's mitzvah doraisa. Gadol mitzvah va'isa v'she'ena mitzvah va'isa. Greater is the person who's commanded than not commanded. It's better to do it because Hashem wants you to do it. That's not working. Of course it's the MS. But it's not the language which is being conveyed, which is resonating with our generation, our next generation. It's an old message. To get excited about that we have Tzelem Elokim and to find the Tzelem Elokim in another person. To see the godliness in somebody else. To see the Shechina, Shruya Beinehem, Ish ve'isha, the Yud and the Hey. To see that marriage is taking the physical and elevating it to something higher. It's an exciting avodah to be married, to build a home. Achila, with a bracha to connect the physical to the spiritual. Stuck at taking money and spiritualizing it. These are messages which we understand but are not getting across. It becomes dry, it becomes mundane, it becomes ritual, ordinary, chol. We're not conveying the message of the vibrancy, the excitement of mitzvos. It's because we have to. Because we've done it. Keep it alive. Survive. That is not a message which is getting through to be accepted by our children and grandchildren as something that they want to embrace with simcha and joy. It's something they have to do. And it takes time to get good at Shabbos. Isn't your experience of Shabbos today, after keeping Shabbos 20, 30, 40 years, different than it was when you were 10, 15, 20? Isn't your experience growing? Is it becoming more meaningful? With more you learn, more you hear Divrei Torah on Shabbos, you learn about Shabbos, you learn the hashkafa of Shabbos. Our experience of 20, 30 years of Shabbos is much deeper, much richer. But children don't have time to 30 years to figure out and to experience Shabbos for 30 years to get Shabbos. You've got to get Shabbos. You've got to experience the Kedusha, the Bren, the oneness of Shabbos. That takes 30 years to figure out and to experience of Nasa v'Nishma. If I say to you, I want you to experience chocolate mousse. I know you've never had chocolate mousse before, but I want to tell you what chocolate mousse is. Chocolate mousse is like custardy. It's sort of like ice cream. It's got a flow to it. It's got a little bit of vodka in it, a little rum. It's got sweet flavor, but it's also got a little bit of aftertaste. But it's sort of like ice cream. It's cold, but it's also like creamy. It's got some mousse in it. And you go, what? Mousse, custard, ice cream? What is it? So try it. You go, oh, now I get it. It's custardy. It's got a little mousse in it, got a little rum in it. Yeah, it's got a little ice cream. It's smooth, but it's got some substance. Yeah, now I get it. But when you were explaining it, I didn't understand it. But now when I tasted it, So what's pshat? What's the meaning of na'aseh v'nishma? We just experienced Shavuos last week. Na'aseh v'nishma. We'll do it and then we'll figure it out later. Na'aseh, and then later we'll nishma. The meaning is that na'aseh means when I do it, now I get it. When you do it, when you experience it, when you live it vibrantly, now I understand what chocolate mousse is. Now I get it. The language of today is na'aseh, experiential, doing, experiencing. It's not words. It's not because you have to. It's experiencing the chocolate mousse, experiencing the Shabbos table, making it a vibrant place. Not because, let's sing another Zemmer, the same Zemmer every single week. Because that's what I did, and that's what my grandfather did, and my great-grandfather did, and that's what we do. It's our tradition. It means something to me. But it doesn't mean something to them. It means something to me. But that's not the language of today. It's not words. It's na'aseh, it's experiencing. And kids go off the derech because they're not getting the message. Why? In the 1950s, there was a man named Leon Festinger who came up with a concept called cognitive dissonance. He did an experiment. They created a UFO culture, an unidentified flying object culture in the 50s. And they created this sort of myth that said that the UFOs, the aliens, are going to come over and take over the world. And there's a particular day they're going to come. And the whole world was getting all excited about it. Part of the Orson Welles, the H.G. Wells culture. The aliens have landed. And people were all in a tumult about it. The UFOs are coming. The aliens are coming. Right? The world is going to end. What happened? The day came and went. No aliens. So Festinger said, what are people going to do with a culture? They've built up a certain kind of culture in their minds that this is going to happen, and now it hasn't happened. What are they going to do with it? The whole culture is to be destroyed. They lived for it. Like a Star Trek generation. They lived for this UFO culture, and now it didn't happen. What are they going to do with their lives now? So what do people say? They said, you know what? They're going to come again. They missed the date. You can't live with the concept that I dedicate my life to something and it doesn't make sense. So I have to create a resolution in my mind that that which I dedicated my life to is not wrong, can't be wrong, it's they made a mistake. I can't be wrong, they're wrong. That's called cognitive dissonance. I correct the mistake by saying, not me, them. The story of the fox trying to reach the grapes too high for him. He reached up and he reached up and he reached up, but he couldn't get the grapes. So what did the fox say to himself afterwards? He said, oh, they're probably sour anyway. Right? That's called cognitive dissonance. It's a rationalization. I can't live with me not being able to get there, so therefore they must be sour anyway. That's called cognitive dissonance. It's a dissonance, it's a disconnect between the two belief systems, and therefore I cannot live with myself unless I correct the dissonance and I have a resolution of that dissonance, that disconnect. And therefore I must resolve it by saying, nothing wrong with them, it's nothing wrong with me, it's them. The grapes are no good. The UFOs didn't come, it's their fault. I'm okay. So when we say to our children, Hashem is everywhere. Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is everywhere. Up, up, down, everywhere. Hashem loves you. They don't feel it. So they say, they don't feel love. So they say, nothing wrong with me. Something wrong with Hashem. This stuff is out of date. This stuff is not for me. Because they don't feel, there's a cognitive dissonance. I don't feel loved by Hashem. So therefore they say, I reject Hashem. I reject Yiddishkeit. I reject the rituals because it doesn't mean anything to me. They resolve the cognitive dissonance by saying, there's nothing wrong with me, it's them. The system is out of date. The system is archaic. The system doesn't mean anything to me. Hashem doesn't love me. Yeah, loves me, sure, right. Why do they say, Hashem doesn't love me? Do you know why? In psychology, children see Hashem as they see their parents. If your parents are benevolent and loving, then you extrapolate from there and see Hashem as benevolent and loving. If you see your parents as disciplinarian, critical, negative, forceful, hyper-judgmental, pushing you, never complimenting, never being satisfied, never good enough, then you'll extrapolate to there that Hashem sees me as not being good enough. Our relationship with our parents translates into a relationship with Hashem. The only way we can see Hashem, the other, Zulas, the other, is by seeing someone other than ourselves. The closest person to a godly figure in our family, and when we grow up, we think our parents are God, until we turn 20 and 25 and we see that they are mistaken. And it's a big shock to our system saying, my parents aren't? Oh my gosh. Right? 20? How old do you think the kids wake up? 20? 18? 15? When they see hypocrisy, when they see negativity, when they see screaming and yelling, and they see not so erlich stuff, they start realizing that maybe my parents aren't God. But when they're little, they figure that we are. So it breaks their whole world. So in the beginning, they say it's something wrong with them. Then they figure out it's something wrong with the parents. And they reject the parent system because they're not getting love. They're getting discipline. They're getting, do it because we said so. Do it because that's how we do it. Sit to the table. I don't want to sit at the table. Sit at the table. Sit and learn now. Come to Shalom Daven. I don't want to. Doesn't mean anything to me. Because we have to. It's Yiddishkeit. That message is not getting across. It's a disciplinarian, harsh, negative, judgmental. This is how, in the box, this is how it has to be. That message is not getting across. It doesn't inspire anybody. And so they resolve the conflict with cognitive dissonance by saying, nothing wrong with me, I'm okay. Something wrong with my parents, something wrong with the system, something wrong with Yiddishkeit, and they walk away. The two ways in which we can convey Yiddishkeit to our children, the two ways in which we motivate anybody to do anything, are two systems. One is called a goal, and one is called a culture. I will sit and study for exams for 5 years, 10 years, because I know the end goal is going to be, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be an accountant, CPA. I'm going to be a certified something. So I'll work hard and sacrifice in the short term because there's going to be a goal at the end. But if the goal is too long, too far away, in our today's culture, I don't have the patience to sit through it. The second area of how we motivate, how we get anything done in this world, is through culture. The fashion culture. What's in and what's out. They tell us what's in. Narrow ties is in this year, right? So that's the culture. You're wearing a wide tie, you're not in. So we become conformists to the culture because you got to have a wide tie, narrow tie. You have to have cockroach killers because that's what's in. You're not wearing cockroach killers? We haven't got there yet because that's in New York 5 years ago. We're catching up. Baltimore is about 10, 15 years behind. England is about 15 years behind America. Baltimore is about 15 years behind New York. Right? So cockroach killers will get here soon. But it's pointy shoes. Pointy shoes that are supposed to be very in. Or pastels. Pastels is the color this year. Pastels. Why? Because that's the culture. If you don't wear the pastels, then you're not in. Oh, we're all wearing black now. Who said? Because we're all wearing black. The chasnas, everyone wears black. Okay? It's a culture. So that if you don't live in the culture, so what happens with our culture? Our culture is, our goal for our children is become a Talmid Chacham. Become an Eved Hashem. It takes years to become an Eved Hashem. Years to get good at tefillah. Tefillah takes years to get good at tefillah. Shabbos, to enjoy Shabbos, takes years to understand Shabbos. So the goal is too far in our generation. And the culture, my Rebbe wasn't nice to me, and my friends are having a good time, right? And you just get on the net, and you find out that people have a counterculture. Used to be that the culture was, you have to conform. Rebbe doesn't approve of me, so I have to behave, otherwise my friends will disown me. Now, if you don't fit into the culture, you create your own culture. So kids create a drug culture, a peer culture, a alcohol culture, a boys and girls culture, where they find acceptance. They don't find acceptance in the mainstream culture because we don't approve of it. And it used to be in the past, well, if you don't get approved, I better conform, I better behave. Now there are alternatives because there's a different culture. We can create our own culture now. So the two motivations of how we get messages across, through a goal and through a culture, don't work anymore. The language is too slow. The internet is too slow. I'm always wondered why a certain kind of internet company is promoting the fact that our internet is better than yours because ours is faster. Why? Because it used to be that you had internet, you said, wow, I got internet, I got access, wow, fantastic. Now, if you wait 30 seconds or 4 seconds to download something, this is so slow. Gosh, this is slow. What a slow server. Got to get a better modem. Got a better, faster service. Because we're fast today. The culture of today is fast. And our language is slow. Patience is a virtue. Learn Torah every day. We're going to get there. You're going to get it right. Gemara is so hard, but if you work on it for 3 or 4 or 5 years and a couple of decades, then you'll be a Talmid Chacham. Decades? I don't have decades. I have 10 minutes. I have 10 minutes. Give me something, Rebbe, that's going to make me inspired. 10 minutes. I don't have 10 years. I've got 10 minutes. Shabbos table lasts 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. That is 2 hours and 20 minutes too long for kids of today, because we live in a culture which is too fast. Fax, email, internet, fast answers, immediate gratification, video games. The video games gives you immediate answers. Right away, boom, 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 you win. So we are not speaking the right language. We speak patience. Patience doesn't work today. Spirituality doesn't work today. Commitment to persevere at something. Persevere? Nobody cooks in an oven anymore. Does anyone here cook in an oven? You cook dinner in a microwave. The problem with a microwave is that you make only one meal at a time. So by the time the first person is eating, the last person gets to be served about 20 minutes later, 15 minutes later, they don't eat together. The microwave generation has made us not eat together. An oven, you cook everything in one time. You put it out on the table and everyone shares a meal together. Studies have shown that the families that eat together 5 meals out of 7 per week are the families which have well-adjusted children. But we don't eat together because husbands come home at 9 o'clock, eat by themselves, kids eat at 4 o'clock, mother eats with whom or without, or picks it. They don't eat together. One important resolution of cognitive dissonance of families missing each other is not only on Shabbos, but have a 15-minute meal together every night and share the experience together. How was your day? What was going on? Get in touch with the child every single day. Show that practically that we love them, that we're interested in their lives. On a secular basis. Having a meal together. Bracha, bench. But the idea is that they have to know that we care in reality. Not with words. With tachlis. You have to show it. Na'aseh v'nishma. It's a meal together. How was your day? Tell me about your life. What's going on? How are your friends? How's your Rebbe? How's your teacher? What went wrong today? What went right today? If we really show interest in our children's lives, na'aseh v'nishma, that I care, I love you, I care about you, tachlis, Yiddishkeit will follow. First, there has to be love. There has to be a relationship. You have to convey the message to our children that we love them for them. Not because they are pawns in our Yiddishkeit progression and transmission. Otherwise, they'll become anybody. Could be anybody. As long as there's someone going to be receiving my transmission, then you could be anybody. It doesn't have to be me. It just has to be a being, a person, a child, a block. Nothing to do with me. We have to personalize our relationship with our children. First, love them for who they are. I have a Talmida who's now married, who has 3 children, now covers her hair, involved in the community. She's a leader of the community. She gives shiurim. But about 12, 13 years ago, she was a growing balas tshuva. She went to people's houses for Shabbos Friday night. Shabbos candles and Shalom Aleichem, and she loved it, and she wasn't frum. And she said to me, I love it. It's fantastic. It's really great. Except there's one thing that I have a problem with. I said, what's that? She said, because the Father's blessing Friday night, perhaps you heard me say this before, is so loveless. Why is it loveless? What do you mean? She said, Friday night, the Father gives the bracha, lines up the 7, 8 kids, and it happens so fast. And he goes, it's sort of like, she says, like an old-fashioned typewriter. You know, because he's ding, ding, ding. Each one is about 4 seconds. The kiss of the child misses, usually. Forget about it. The hands are not really on the child's head. They're above the child's head, because I don't want to get my hands touching someone's hair, because then I have to wash them before Kiddush, so you love me? You just want to get this over with. Well, the soup is getting cold. Let's just get this done. It's a blessing Friday night that my grandparents used to do, so I'll give one to you too. Do I care about you? No. Do I convey love? No. Do I actually kiss you? No. Do I hug you? No. Do I talk to you? No. It's just something I do. It's a blessing Friday night. It's beautiful. So she picked this up. She said, how come the bracha of the father to the child Friday night is so loveless? So I said, maybe I do the same thing. So that Friday night I came home and I said, I better listen. Mikol talmidai hiskalti. Talmidai yoser mikulam. I'll learn from my children, from my students. So I said, Friday night, Simech Elokim Kesara Rivka Rachel Valeya Yivarecha Hashem v'yishmerecha Ya'er Hashem panav elecha. My daughter looked up to me and she went, what is he doing? What is going on here? His dad lost it or something? And I went on and go, Yisa Hashem panav alech. And then I gave her a hug, and I said to her a whisper. I said, Rivka, you are so conscientious. You worked hard this week on your project. You helped mommy. You did chesed with your little sister. I'm so proud of you. And she smiled, and she sort of relaxed, and she felt like relaxed in my arms, and she felt like, felt comforted, felt supported, loved. My son said, I heard that. I said, don't worry, you're next, come over here. Right? And Friday night, I try to make this blessing, the bracha, an experience of love. And I do it by the Shabbos candles. So they associate a bracha of Shabbos with love. That Shabbos means to them that my father loves me, but really loves me, because I feel it. They experience my love. They actually feel that warmth. I really care. And every Friday night I have to come up with something new to say Friday night. Something new about them. Something for that I have to notice. For that I have to be around. I have to look, I have to see, I have to watch, I have to notice. A very important thing about a relationship with children and with spouses, is I noticed that you are wearing a new yarmulke. I noticed that you have a new binder. I noticed you have a new something. I noticed that. You noticed? You noticed me? I mean, I'm visible to you? I'm not emotionally abandoning you. I'm there for you. I experience you. I know you. I watch you. I interact with you. That's what we have to convey to our children. The Yiddishkeit will come. And I do it by the Shabbos candles to know that my noticing of you is called Shabbos. I notice you because I experienced the love for you, and they'll remember that my love for my father was on Shabbos. And they associate it in their minds. This is called classical conditioning, where you associate something that happens with something positive. That Shabbos means love. So they'll want to keep Shabbos. You'll say, oh, well, it's not lishma, because they're not loving Shabbos for Shabbos, loving Shabbos because they get love from their father. Mitoch shelo lishma ba lishma. Convey love, convey relationship, convey na'aseh v'nishma. I care about you for your uniqueness, not because you are a pawn in my nachas machine, that I want you to continue Judaism and be my kadeshol and speak after me and carry on my traditions. That could be anybody doing that. It's not them in particular. It's not their uniqueness doing that. Nothing special about them. Our generation is numberless. We're all numbers. We're faceless. We're just numbers. We're just numbers in a consumer list. How many watched this? How many attended? How many went to the 90,000 went to the Siyam Hashas? 90,000. What? 90,000 what? Potatoes? 90,000 individuals. Unique individuals. But it was 90,000. Should be a profile. And there was actually at the Siyam Hashas, and a profile of videos of people, different siyumim, different shiurim. But the uniqueness of each individual has to be preserved, has to be developed. We have to develop a unique relationship with each child to make them feel that they are special to us, not because they are a pawn in Yiddishkeit, because I care about them uniquely, personally. When Rabbeim gives an idea of holding a child, a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, and I do it with my 20-year-olds. I hold them, and I learned this from my Rebbe. Hold them and say, I love you. Do you know why I love you? Because you're mine. Do you know why I love you? Because you're you. The feeling of holding a child or a grandchild and conveying love to them because they're them is called unconditional love. Not conditional love. Unconditional love. Conditional love is I love you because you did well in the bechina, because you gave big nachas, because you davened well for the Amid, because you Did a project, beautiful, very nice. That's conditional love. Unconditional love is the message that we have to convey to our children today, because I love them because of them, not because of me. Conditional love is loving them because of me. I love myself. Unconditional love is I love them because of them. I love you because you're you, because you're unique in the Bria. And sometimes on Friday night, I give a bracha and I don't know what to say. I draw a blank. It's a senior moment. I don't know what to say. I have something unique. Now I forget what to say. So I say, sometimes words are not necessary. I just love you. Sometimes that's a very powerful, very poignant. We have to convey the message that Shabbos is an experience for us. We have to sing like we mean it. Simcha. We have to enjoy the Shabbos table. A simchadik Shabbos table. When we're waiting for the bracha on the challah, and it takes about 90 seconds, 2 minutes, don't sit in silence. Sing a niggin. Sing a niggin. Get everybody involved. Enjoy it. Sit in silence. Sing a niggin. Act out the parsha. The charades. Make it come alive. Parsha of Shlach. Certain parts you shouldn't act out. Meraglim coming back, but sending out the Meraglim. What am I doing? Big grapes. And play it out. Make it exciting. Make it come alive. For 3-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 12-year-olds. And it became a bit more sophisticated for the older ones. A little more subtle. Act out of Rashi. This shows that you're Na'asav and Ishma, that you're experiencing the Parsha, a dry Dvar Torah. Divrei Torah should not be 15, 20 minutes. The Shabbos table. It should be 90 seconds. A small, short message which is relevant to Midos development, to something about joy, about happiness, about Yiddishkeit. Not a convoluted, complex halachic discourse which loses everybody. And many people come into my office and they complain that, my parents think that the Dvar Torah is supposed to be some sort of complicated, pilpul, Talmudic drasha that nobody gets. No one cares. You're supposed to care, but it doesn't mean anything. It's not my language. Speak their language. Read a story from Touched by a something. Read a story. Make it warm, varm. Enjoy it. Have a song contest. With this half of the table, I say a word, David. Okay? You got 4 seconds. Sing the song with the word David. David Melech Yisrael. Okay, this side, you got 1 point. This side. Sing a song with the word Hagoel. Malach Hagoel Osi. Okay? And you get extra points for Kavanah. Hamalach Hagoel Osi. 2 points. Very good, very good. 2 points. You give out lentils. Right? Contests go back and forth. Make the Shabbos table come alive. Make them want to be there. Speaking their language. Incentives. Lentils. A Dvar Torah that they appreciate. Not that my Shabbos table is something that I did because my grandparents did it, or I'm doing it, or it's because that's what we do every Friday night, but because I choose it. I cannot live without Shabbos. But our body language, our experience of Shabbos has to show that. It has to be conveyed in the body language of action. in the present, alive. Geschmack. I have to taste it. Ta'amu uru, has to taste it. You have to show that you're also learning. I want to tell you a great word I just heard about Pesach. Pesach means personal freedom, that you can liberate yourself. Give out. Give out. I'll tell you a great word. Shavuos. Why is it called Shavuos? Every yontif is called by the name of the yontif. Pesach is called Pesach because of Chag Matzos, because we eat matzah now, yontif. And Sukkot is because we did Sukkah. But Shavuos, there's nothing about Shavuos. Shavuos is the weeks before Shavuos. Why? I have a problem with that. Ask a question. What do you think? Every yontif is called by the name of the thing we do on that yontif. Matzos is matzos. We eat in that matzos. Sukkah is we did a Sukkah. Shavuos is something we just finished doing. Shavuos. It should be called Torah. Not Shavuos. Shavuos was someone it's over. So I heard the great word. You tell him over. You say, Shavuos is the time. Hashem has given us the power to create our own time. And we count Shavuos, we count weeks. It's from Tuesday to Tuesday. And Wednesday to Wednesday. And Monday to Monday. It's not Shabbos to Shabbos. We can create our own weeks, which means we are masters of our own time. Hashem gave us the Torah to be masters of time. Like a shmak word. But you say it over with excitement. Gewalt. Like you're also growing. You're also enamored, emblazoned with the Shabbos, emblazoned with the Vort. You have to give it over with Islavus, and that will convey it to them. Our generation is a generation of texting. There's no emotion in texting. There's no nuance in texting. It's just cold words. But a conversation, like giving it the way you give it over. Nasa, it's a chocolate mousse and it's got tasty and it's gefalt. Geschmack. Has to be given over with love. That will make a roshim. That will sink in to their neshama. We have to convey to each child. Children are facing difficulties today they didn't have before. Bullying. Here's a person who's experiencing anxiety, a child. He's bullied in the schoolyard. Many, many children have learning disabilities. They feel less than because they have a reading difficulty, processing difficulty, audio processing, visual processing, dyslexia. Children don't feel good about themselves. And then they can't follow the Rebbe. And they're in the resource room. And they have to go out to the resource room. And everyone goes, going to the resource room, going to the dumb class. What does that do to the child's self-esteem? I don't feel like I can learn like everybody else. So why should I follow it? What sets in? Cognitive dissonance. Nothing wrong with me. It's Yiddishkeit. They don't get me. I can't follow this. Not for me. Cognitive dissonance sets in. Bullied by a Rebbe, bullied by a student, outcast, not cool enough. Nothing wrong with me, it's going on with them. Sibling rivalry. I have a brother or a sister who's older than me, who's always got the attention of my parents, not me. So I feel less than. Critical parents. This is how you have to do. I feel lonely. How does a child survive that? This is on a personal level. Forget about Yiddishkeit for a moment. That it impacts on Yiddishkeit. Because it says, well, if I don't fit in, if I can't read it, if I can't read the Gemara, I can't read the Chumash, I'm not as good as everybody else, I'm not counted and I don't socially belong, then I'm going to reject Yiddishkeit. And I'm going to find a different culture. People do accept me. I create a counterculture. And there is a counterculture of so many children who have been rejected by the system. They don't make it. Not at the top of the class. So they create a counterculture, a subculture, where they do find acceptance. So how do we accept them? We have to create the culture in our own family to accept them. How do we do that? So I've given to you a handout. which looks like this. It's a wheel of strengths. And on the wheel of strengths are 6 aspects of a person's strengths, personality. We have intellectual strengths, social skills, personality, or midos, spirituality, family, and accomplishments or growth. So, it's our obligation as parents and grandparents to sit down with each child on a particular evening and go through their strengths and point out to them, with them, what are their intellectual strengths. Are they academic? Are they common sense? Are they organized? Are they efficient? And have them become aware that they are talented, that they are good at something. Social skills. You're a people person, organize things for the class, organize the carnival for tzedakah, you're trustworthy, you have a friend, you organize baseball games, you shared your Chinese jump rope with a next door neighbor. What are your social skills? Personality are your midos. What are your midos strengths? And the midos I refer to is the Yud Gil Midos HaRachamim, the 13 midos of Hashem. And Hashem takes each one of those midos and instills in some of us, in each of us, 1 or 2 of those attributes of Hashem. And therefore you have Hashem in your being. Hashem means consistency. Ani Hashem koydem achet, Ani Hashem achar achet, means I am God before and God after. So you are a consistent, persevering child. You don't give up. Kale, power, strength. Self-control, power over yourself. That's good self-control. Rachum, compassion. You're compassionate. Compassion means compassion for their physical being. Chanun means compassion for their spiritual being, from their emotional self. Chen means empathy. I'm sensitive to my child's or someone else's spiritual condition or emotional condition. Chen, empathy, sensitivity, gentleness. Erech hapayim, patience, laid back, relaxed. Rav chesed, giving, helpful. MS, honesty, integrity. Notzer chesed, creativity, musical, art, ideas. Nosei avon v'pesha v'chata'ah, forgiving. Which one of those midos, or 2, did Hashem instill in your child? And sit down with your child and write out these strengths. Spirituality. What inspires you? Camp, hiking, mountains, seeing Hashem's hand in the world. Helping somebody, helping the younger siblings, babysitting for a neighbor. Learning, singing. Saying a bracha with kavanah. Find something positive about their spirituality and compliment them. Praise them, value them, validate them. Family, how they contribute to family. Helpful at the Shabbos table, helping set up for Shabbos, helpful with a sibling, respectful speech, how they contribute to the family, and accomplishments, what they're good at. So make a wheel of strengths for each child and tell them that they're good, that they're valuable, that they're talented. And every night, review the wheel of strengths and point out to them, so which one did you do today? And I ask children and clients to write a journal for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month and write down these 6 items and date the date, June 11th, and write down these 6 items. At the end of the day, write down what you did significant that day which actualized that particular attribute of intellect. How do you use your intellect today? How do you use your social skills? How do you use your midos today? How do you use your spirituality today? At the end of the week, or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they see a book full of positive things they did to effect positive change in the world. They're bound to feel good about themselves and build up their self-esteem and self-confidence. And then you can validate them and value them for what they've done and what they are. So on some of these things are what they do, and some things here are what they are. Your values, your beliefs, your mahus, your character is what you are. Helpful is what you do. What you do, I compliment them for conditional love. What they are, I compliment them for with unconditional love. This is what you are. You are a giver. You are a kind person. You are an emestic person. So here we are able to interact with our children from a self point of view, a unconditional who you are, what you are point of view, and a conditional point of view of what they do. And these are the two aspects of self-esteem. Intrinsic value, intrinsic worth as a Tzelem Elokim. You are because you are a Tzelem Elokim. I love you because you're you. I love you because you are. I love you because you're mine. Just being. That's unconditional love. That's your intrinsic worth. And complimenting a child for what they do, that's called conditional love. That's called competence. They are talented. They have abilities. They have resources. They can do things. They have efficacy. They can do good things in the world. Both are necessary to be able to a child to feel loved and valued and noticed and shalom. And we do that every day. And you do it by the Shabbos candles Friday night. And then they feel noticed, loved, validated by our parents, by their parents. And that's the culture of love that they want to associate with. They want to come to the Shabbos table because they have charades and fun and experience and divrei Torah which are short and enjoyable conversation and discussions about life. They want to be there. But we have to be creative about our Shabbos table. We have to be creative with our children. We have to be excited. We have to be awake, alive, enlivened, passionate about our Yiddishkeit, and passionate about our relationships with our children. In that way, we'll be able to convey to them that we do care, we do love, we do notice their uniqueness and their individuality. Our job is to find what is unique, a unique strength and a unique activity that each child can do. If you haven't found it, you haven't looked hard enough. Each child should be a star at something. Guitar, flute, cello, piano, ballet, drama, cooking, sewing. Each child should be worked with to discover what is their strength and let them shine at something. Each child has to have a connection to this world that they are valuable and talented and good at something. And it's our job as parents to figure out what that is. I don't want to do anything. Oh, we have to find something. I want to read. Don't let them read in their room all the time. They're a good reader. Yeah? Okay, good. They have to do something experiential to feel good about themselves. Oftentimes reading is an escape, withdrawal from society. I'm not so good at social things, so I'm going to read. I'll be a good reader. Got to get out there. Got to interact with kids, interact with friends, play ball, play football. We should be playing ball with them. It's not bittul Torah to play ball with them. Because when they have a relationship with us, and they know that we care about them as a person, then they'll want to learn our Torah. Because the language of today is experiential. Being with me, Dad. Spend time with me. Hang out with me, Dad. My clients say to me, I don't like soccer. I don't care whether you like soccer or not. Your kid likes soccer, you play soccer. I don't like baseball. Play baseball. Get a glove. I don't like bicycle. Get on a bicycle. Go bicycle riding with your kid. It's not enjoyable to me. It's not about you. When we have children, it's no longer about me. It's about the child. I don't find it enjoyable. I don't care whether you find it enjoyable or not. What is self-sacrifice? What is meiser nefesh? Do it because the child wants it, needs it, shows interest. You show the interest in the child. It doesn't have to be enjoyable to you. Make it enjoyable. Right? Don't have a good day. Don't have a good day. Make it a good day. To create that passion. Karate, judo, taekwondo. So these CAPS programs at Beis Yaakov are excellent, giving children an opportunity to see other activities, to broaden their horizons, to learn more new things. Camp in the summer, night camps, activities, journaling. What's that? Scrapbooking. Turn it into a chesed project. Make a blanket for a child who's sick and bring it to Gvuras Yarden. Bring it to Chai Lifeline. Make a pillow. Bring it over to the hospital. Go to the old age home with your child. Do a chesed project together as a family. Make chesed alive. We're going to do it together. I just asked my daughter this week. She just told me that we just drove by Levendale. She said, oh, the 6th grade goes to Levendale. I said, do you go to Levendale? You're in 7th grade. Go to Levendale? Well, we did in 6th grade. I said, would you like to go with me and we'll go visit people in the hospital, Levendale on Sunday? She said, well, we don't know anybody there. I said, you don't have to know anybody there. We can get to know somebody there. Just a random act of chesed. Let's do it together. She said, okay, well, let's try that. The kids then knock on doors with the package. Abba said, we can't let them know that we know who they are, right? We didn't have names, just an address. It's okay, so let's knock on the door, and then run away quickly. They knocked on the door and they ran, zoomed, get up, but they ducked down in the car and they said, let's go, Davi, go. Right? So we're experiencing, the mitzvah of not knowing who you're giving to, and they should know who's giving, right? We're experiencing it. They keep talking about that. Emotional support. We have to learn how to give emotional support to our children. Be emotionally tuned in to our spouses and our children. What does that mean? Everyone should read the book, How to Talk So Children Shall Listen, and How to Listen So Children Shall Talk, by Maisel. We learn the system of, so I understand how you're feeling. You're feeling upset right now. You're feeling frustrated. You're feeling sad. You're feeling angry. What do we usually do? What did I usually do when I first got married? Was, that's nothing. Don't worry about it. You'll get over it. It'll be fine. I minimized and negated feelings. It's nothing. Forget about it. Don't make a big deal about it. I thought that was being nice. I thought that was being supportive. I'll be strong. Forget about it. But we have to be emotionally tuned in by saying, that must be hard for you. That must be tough. It must be annoying. Frustrating. It made me angry. The teacher said that? Really? First, emotionally connect. Understand what the person is saying, what the child is saying. And then say, when I was your age, something similar happened to me. I also didn't get the math, and I had to have a tutor, and I felt really, really embarrassed. You didn't get math, Abba? Yeah. I thought no, I didn't do well in math. And I had to get a tutor, and it was very hard for me too. It was very embarrassing too. I had to go to my aunt and help me. Didn't do well, but I pulled myself up and I passed the final. Really? You had to work hard at math? Yeah. Wow. You're real? You're not perfect? No, I'm not perfect. Wow. Tell a story from your own life that makes a child feel, or a spouse feel, like you really get them. That's called emotional support. Don't invalidate the feelings, but validate the feelings. That is being there for somebody. That's being present. That's showing that you are really there, and you care, and you know them, and you understand them, and you're there for them emotionally. You can receive their stuff and be there for them. Then a child will say, I can talk to Dad. Dad, I'm having trouble with davening. It's so boring, and my mind's wandering. Yeah. Guess what? Me too. Right? But I try to concentrate on the Yud Kei Vav Kei. This is what I try to do. Davening's hard. It's long. Most stuff I don't understand. I use it interlinear. I use the Birnbaum. Word for word, it's one Esrei. But I try to focus on Yud Kei Vav Kei. Yud and a Hey and a Vav and a Kei. And I feel like, I feel like I'm enlivened every moment. When I say Hashem's name, He's Mehava me. With what? With the word before, the word after that word. Rachamim, Ahava. Romamu, Umu Hashem, So I try to understand one word of tefillah, Yud Kei Vav Kei. And there are about 250 times Hashem's name is mentioned in Shachris. So look for it. Get enlivened. Make it an exciting opportunity to find something, to be alive in tefillah. Give them 2 or 3 words to find in tefillah in the morning, and let them write it down, saying, did you find that word in tefillah? If you find that word in tefillah, I'll give you a ticket. Get a certain number of tickets, we'll get a prize. And the kid is 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 11. Show them there's words in tefillah. Here's today's 3 words. Find them and what they mean in tefillah, and write them down tonight and show them to me. We'll discuss them, and you'll get a prize. You'll get a ticket. 18 tickets, we'll go to the store and get you a Shweki CD or something. Learning with our children. Put your arm around your child when you're learning with them. Say, that's beautiful. It's a beautiful pshat. Make it geshmak. Make it a love experience. Tefillah, learning has to be with love. Not, no, wrong. And it becomes a point of conflict, a point of negativity, where I never get anything right. And many children finish childhood, they come out of childhood saying, you know what I remember about childhood? I was never, finish the sentence. I was never good enough. Many people come out of childhood that way. And if I'm never good enough in my parents' eyes, then I'm not going to be good enough in Hashem's eyes. They extrapolate from our parents to Hashem. They have to be good enough. We have to find what's good about them, compliment them, praise them, validate them. What are they doing right? Catch your children red-handed doing something right. When you kiss the mezuzah, there is no mitzvah to kiss the mezuzah. There is no halacha to kiss the mezuzah. No such thing. In Lita, no one kissed mezuzahs. The Gedolim did not kiss mezuzahs. It's a mistake. The Rambam says in halacha, in Hilchos Mezuzah, Perek Zayin, says the mitzvah is vayifga b'mezuzah. Vayifga b'mezuzah does not mean to touch the mezuzah. It means to encounter the mezuzah, to encounter the words in the mezuzah. Vayifga b'yichudai, to encounter Hashem's oneness. What does that mean? You stop. I see Gedolim do this. They look at the mezuzah. They stop at the door. They don't kiss the mezuzah. They look at it. Vayifka, they encounter yichudai, His oneness, and they say, what's in there? Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu. There's God in this room. So they look in the room and they say, I'm going to find the godliness in this room. And I look at the mezuzah, and Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Instead of coming to the room and going, such a mess. Come on, guys, clean up. Pick that up. Your towel's on the floor. Shabbos is coming. What's the matter with you? I kiss the mezuzah. What's the matter? And be negative. And be critical. And put down and say, come on. Who's going to help me around here? I'm tearing my hair out already. Come on, someone help me. I can't do this by myself. But I kiss the mezuzah. I'm religious. I kiss the mezuzah. But that's not the point. The point is to encounter the oneness of Hashem and to find it in the room. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. There's God, and bring Hashem into the room by saying, that was very, very kind of you. I saw the Hashem's kindness in you, what you just did. That was very conscientious of you. That was very helpful of you. Thank you so much for the beautiful help you just gave. It was very kind to help your sister. You spoke so beautifully just now. To see the Hashem Echad in the mezuzah and bring it into the room and be positive, that's how we're going to keep the children on the derech. By being positive with them, by being loving, by noticing the good, by pointing out the good, by pointing out their wheel of strengths, by building up their strengths, by bringing out their talents, letting them shine at something. And then they'll want to be part of our culture. They have to be part of our emotional culture first. Then we have to overlay that with, and part of my culture is Shabbos, and learning, and tefillah, and simcha. It's part of my culture. But they have to feel like they're part of the individuality, the uniqueness of the culture. Going on family outings together. There are only two emotions in life. Only two emotions. Fear and love. Only two emotions. Fear gives forth to all the negative emotions. Taking, depression, anger, and negativity. Off the derech and the dissonance of, I don't believe in this stuff, and I don't want to belong to this system, and I'm opting out, this negativity, this anger, is coming from fear. Any criticism you're getting at home from a spouse or children is coming from fear. If I'm angry at somebody, if I'm critical at somebody, it's coming from fear. Why? If I say, meet me at my office for an appointment at 4 o'clock, and you show up at 9:30 p.m., I get angry at you. I'm angry. Why am I angry at you? I said 4 o'clock. You show up at 9:30? What's the anger? Where's the anger coming from? I'm angry at you. Why am I angry? Because you waste my time. Oh, I had plenty of what to do. I have what to do, to learn, to work, to write. I got what to do. So you don't come up. So I'll have time off for an hour to do my own work. I'm not angry for that. What am I angry about? I'm angry because I fear, the anger coming from fear, I fear that you don't what? You don't respect me. You don't value me. You don't think I'm worthy of your time. I fear that I'm not worthy. And so when my child insults me or my wife gets upset with me, I get angry because I fear they don't value me. They're dissing me. So it comes out as anger. I'm angry at you. My wife's angry at me because I didn't call when I'm going to be home late for dinner. So I'll eat. I don't mind. I'll eat dried out fish sticks. So what? I appreciate what you did, but I'll eat dried out. I don't care. She says, but I care because I put the effort in to make a healthy meal, and I wanted to give it to you, and you didn't allow me to give it to you. You didn't even tell me to put it aside or to warm it or to put it aside, and you didn't have enough a forethought or care for me to call me, let me know. So she's angry at me. What is she angry about? She's angry because she's fearful I don't respect her. I don't value her. All negativity, all criticism, all anger comes from fear. And children of the derech come because they are fearful that we don't value them. I only treat them as a nachas machine because we have to keep Yiddishkeit going. It could be anybody. It could be a borrowed child from next door. Let them keep Yiddishkeit going. But you don't care about me. You just care about you, about yourself. You want to be a link in the chain of Jewish tradition. Very good. But it doesn't have to be me. We have to make it unique to them. We have to take away the fear and replace it with what? The only other emotion, which is love. Love gives forth giving. If I feel loved and valued and worthy, then I can be a giver. I can be happy. I can compliment others. I can be positive. If I feel loved and validated, loved means validated, important, worthy of attention, then I feel shalom, I feel whole, and I can be a giver, I can be happy, compliment, positive, energy. That's how we keep kids on the derech, by giving them love. What's love mean? Value. You're important to me. The definition of love is, if it's important to you, it's important to me. If baseball's important to you, then it's important to me. It's narishkeit. No, if it's important to you, it's important to me. Tell me about your game. Tell me about your science project. I'm not into science, says Dad. Tell me about your science project. Let me see about it. Let me go to the science fair. Let me go to the performance. Let me go to the parent-teachers night. Fathers should go to parent-teachers night, not just mothers. Fathers should go. Because that means that they're interested in their parents' development, their children's development, and what's happening. Even if they know what's going to be said. Listen, if teacher doesn't call me, so I know everything's okay. Why do I have to go for it? You go because you're going to go to show them that you care about the child. I don't care what they're going to tell me over there. I know what my child's doing. But my daughter really wants me to go because she wants to know that I am interested in her life and her improvement. And I wrote out all the things they said about it, and I put it on the wall. Good student and Lebedik and energy, and I put it on the wall. I said, this is so important. I wrote all the things they said, and I put them on the wall and said, this is on the kitchen wall. All the things they said about her. Not just in that report card, you tuck it away and you see it once every 3 months. Put it on the wall. Make an attitude of gratitude sheet on the wall. And everyone writes down 5 things. Name, mommy, daddy, children's names. And everyone writes on the poster 5 things they have gratitude for. Thank Hashem for. And every day you put it in the kitchen and you say, every day you walk up and say, I have gratitude. Wow, for this. For home and for family and for life and for eyes and for breathing and for walking and for my scrapbooking and my karate. And everyone writes down their things. Create an energy of positivity in the house. And then, if we do that, then the feeling of aloneness, we're all alone. But we feel lonely because we feel disconnected from our family. We don't count. From our society, from our class, from our shir. I'm lonely. But if we say to them, yes, you're alone, but you're unique. But that requires going against gravity. Gravity drags you down. I'm lonely. I'm alone, and I'm feeling lonely. I'm alone. But if you feel, I'm alone, of course you're alone. There's no one else like you. That makes you unique. Because you have a wheel of strengths, because you have positive traits, because you have unconditional love, because you have kochos, because you have energy, because you contribute. And you continuously, positively inject that energy and that positivity in your child's life with positive interactions, then a child will be able to choose their mood. Choose their mood. We are a son, a daughter. We are a brother, sister, a mother or a father, a friend, employer, co-worker. That's all we are. We are all these things at any given time. Son, daughter, brother, sister, mother or father, friend. I'm all these things. And any given particular relationship, you are choosing. You go home tonight, you're going to be spouse. You can also choose then, slot in here, in this mindset, your mood. If you feel loved and valued, then you can choose sad, anxious, depressed, frustrated, or motivated and happy. Choosing your mood is a choice, but you want to choose that mood if you feel loved by your parents, loved by your grandparents, loved by your Rebbe, validated. Unconditional love and conditional love. Then the children will want to stay on the derech. Then I'll want to choose, I'll be a mother, father, and I'll want to walk in and I'll choose happy. I'm going to walk in today, and I'm going to be happy. I don't feel happy. Doesn't matter what you don't feel happy. Be happy. Choose happiness. Your mood is a matter of choice. You can choose to be happy if you feel loved. I can choose motivation. Okay? Pull myself up. I'm going to be motivated now. I don't feel motivated. Doesn't matter. I'm going to think about my strengths. My parents love me. My Rebbe loves me. He believes in me. One of the greatest things that a wife can say to a husband, as a motivator, is, I believe in you. I believe in you as a father. I believe in you as a husband. I believe in you as a ben Torah, as a person. I believe in you. That's a very motivating thing for a wife to say to a husband. And we have to think of things to motivate our children. You're good at this. I value you. I love you because you're you. I love you because you're mine. And that way we can allow the children to walk away and say, I'm a sister, I'm a brother, I'm going to choose happy. I'm going to choose positivity. So let us understand that if we are able to create a nasa v'nishma culture of energy, positivity, of love in our homes, and connected to the Shabbos table, connected to the learning, connected to the Avodas Hashem, they'll want to be part of the culture because they feel valued as a person. And overlaid upon that is Yiddishkeit. And of course our Yiddishkeit is intertwined with our daily life. But there has to be some psychology involved in making our children feel valued as a person, as a unique human being. And overlaid on top of that is the Avodas Hashem. And of course it's intertwined. But children are losing the message, the language, that they belong at our table, they belong in my life, they belong in my thoughts. And if we're able to convey that with hislavus, with energy and love and compassion, then they'll want to be drawn into my culture, my hislavus and my tefillah, and my Shabbos, and my yontif, and my learning, and the geschmack of it. So let's take this energy of this post-Shavuos period. We got Matan Torah. We were Makabal the Torah last week. Kabbalah Torah. Matan Torah Teinu. The question is, what are we doing with it? We got the Torah. We have the Torah. We reenacted receiving the Torah. What are we doing with the Torah? How are we living with the Torah? If it was given with reses and zeya and hislavus and passion, let's live it with passion. Let's live it with energy. Let's live it with excitement, with geschmack, with tam. And then it'll kaisi revaya, the cup will overflow, and our children will get the message because they'll experience us experiencing Yiddishkeit. It'll be geschmack to us, it'll be geschmack to them. It'll flow over into them naturally, be part of their lives, because we fill our homes with hislavus, with passion, the excitement of our Yiddishkeit. And that way we'll be able to convey the bracha to them, to the next generation, that it means something to us. If it means something to us, it'll mean something to them. So our bracha is to everyone, to all of us, is let's convey it with hislavus. Let's convey our Yiddishkeit with simcha, with joy, with positivity, with energy. And Mitzvah Hashem, that way our kids will want to be part of our derech, on the derech with hislavus, as we are.